I'm glad that you are here to join us again. Previously, in our phenomenal quest for fundamental truth, we discovered that an embodied spirit is the driving force behind our thoughts, spoken words, and actions. We have also learned that in an embodied spirit, the body is not separated from the soul, just as the soul is not separated from the body. And lastly, we uncovered that as an embodied spirit, the human person demonstrates self-awareness, externality, self-determination, and dignity. Good job, questers! This is a case closed. You're right. We are all like detectives in real life. There is something at the end of the road that we are all looking for. So, let us continue and make use of our time fruitfully. Prepare your pen and paper and brace yourselves, because our phenomenal quest for fundamental truth continues. You see, our trace evidence collection kit is empty again. So, for us to be able to continue with this phenomenal quest, we need to collect some essential items. Let us find the following: a magnifying glass, a book of codes, and your self-learning module in philosophy. Great! Now, do you remember what we need to solve for today? What is transcendence? What is the importance of transcendence in dealing with our daily lives? Another interesting case to solve. Join me as we find the answers to this mission. What are you waiting for? Come with me as we explore, discover, and continue the search for truth. I am Teacher Jossa, your Detective Maestra. And this is the 7th episode of the Introduction to the Philosophy of the Human Person. Our mission for today is to find answers to some questions about the human transcendence. I know this word is quite unfamiliar to all of us. Let us try to look for something here that would help us further understand what the human transcendence is. Human transcendence. Possible versus impossible. Identify whether the action shown in the picture is possible or impossible. I can create my own sun. I can climb mountains. I can fly. I can dance. I can reside in the planet Mars. I can eat well. The previous activity talks about transcendence. Saint Thomas Aquinas, a philosopher and one of the greatest theologians of the Catholic Church in the 13th century, mentioned that of all creatures, human beings have the unique power to change themselves and things around them for the better. I'm pretty sure that all of us have encountered a person who complains a lot about any given situation. And whether we would like to admit it or not, sometimes we are like them too. We may have complained about a few things from time to time because of some big or small curveballs that life unexpectedly throws our way. But you know what? As individuals, we have the capability to adjust to these kinds of situations. And it is that capacity and ability to surpass our own limits that is referred to as transcendence. Transcendence is a state of existence or experience above and beyond the normal or physical level. The term originated from the Latin words trans, which means to go beyond, and scandere, which means to climb. Transcendence simply opens a state of thinking and feeling that there is something more in life than just physical and material things. There are some things that seem impossible, but we are able to transcend our own limits through our physical and mental abilities to make these things possible. Oh, this makes sense to us now. That is why we were shown various scenarios earlier to gauge if these instances are possible or impossible to achieve. So, if you assume you can create your own sun, then think carefully again. Our soul enables us to transcend that limitation. Chinese scientists have managed to create an artificial sun that could eventually be used as an inexhaustible source of power, solving the world energy crisis. So, if you believe you can fly, think twice. Our soul enables us to transcend that limitation. The Wright brothers were able to create the Wright Flyer of 1903, the first powered airplane to demonstrate sustainable flight under the full control of a pilot. And if you think you can be a Martian, consider it again. Your soul enables you to transcend that limitation. NASA is continuously developing scientific expertise needed in order to equip humans to counter asteroids by the year 2025 and preparing space explorations bound for Mars by the year 2030. We can connect all this to what St. Thomas Aquinas said: human beings have the unique power to change themselves and things around them for the better. They also show that it is possible to achieve transcendence. To make transcendence easier to understand, here are the first two focal points. Focal point number 1. Transcendence is a state of existence or experience above and beyond the normal or physical level. Focal point number 2. Transcendence simply opens a state of thinking and feeling that there is something more in life than just physical and material things. In facing challenges and obstacles of our daily lives, various scenarios may arise. There are times when things are relatively easy, but it's inevitable that there will be times when things can be difficult. Think of the particular time we are in right now, where the world seemed to be turned upside down due to the COVID-19 pandemic. People are experiencing anxiety attacks, a lack of motivation, self-doubts, relational problems, and many more troubling issues. But these concerns can be addressed above and beyond our physical selves. How? Through the practical applications of what we have discussed about transcendence. Oh, what's this? I think this will help us to further understand how to deal with these kinds of issues.
First guide question: what is the importance of transcendence in dealing with our daily lives? Okay. So first, I think it's important to understand the concept of transcendence before we answer that question. The word transcendence we often hear used by many motivational speakers, and we often hear people say transcend fear or transcend challenges. It simply means go beyond. So to go beyond fears, to go beyond challenges. Most commonly put, it means to overcome. Spiritually, however, transcend could mean differently. It means to see or feel beyond our own physical self. To see also beyond the physical self of others, and to also see beyond the physical reality or component of our nature, what surrounds us. To transcend our physical self simply means to acknowledge that we are more than the thoughts and the emotions our mind create, and we are more than the bodily sensations that we experience. And when we acknowledge this in ourselves, that we are consciousness, we are simply awareness, then we start to expand and acknowledge also the consciousness in others. We see beyond through their physical component or characteristics, their thoughts, their emotional flows, and we see beyond that. But I think it's also important to note that being transcendent doesn't necessarily mean that you have arrived at your destination or you are already at the peak of your enlightenment. Okay, it just means that you are making a moment-to-moment choice within your journey. Going back to the meaning of transcendence, we don't identify with our thoughts and emotions anymore since we acknowledge that we are consciousness and this consciousness or awareness is who we are. We are then able to observe our mind, our emotions, our bodily sensations without judgment. And we are also able to observe what's happening to people around us without judgment and with the understanding that we are all evolving in our own pace. It's normal, of course, to feel sad when things are not going right for us and for others, but we also know that it too shall pass and that our sadness is not who we are because we are the awareness that observe observes such sadness. I think number one tip would be pray, okay, or meditate. No matter what religious denomination you're from, okay, strengthen your own spirituality, right? You might want to consider also meditation. Meditation is so simple, okay? It's actually simply focusing on your breath. Okay, it's a very basic thing, right? Your breath is for free, so you can just simply meditate on your breath. Okay, breathe in and out, okay, for 2 minutes to 5 minutes. Maybe you can increase the number of minutes as you go along. Second would be to practice gratitude. Maybe you'd like to keep a journal, or maybe in your mobile phone you'd like to type there the things that you are thankful for, okay, before you sleep. And of course, eat healthy. Okay, if you can stop eating meat, then do so, and just eat vegetables. All right. Exercise as well. All right. There are also a lot of apps that you can download to help you exercise at home. By the way, there are also a lot of apps you can download on your mobile phone when you want, if you want to meditate. Also, connect to other people and nature. Maybe if you have pets, you can connect to them. All right. Perhaps another thing, if you suspect that you are suffering from mental illness, practice courage to talk to a mental health professional about it. There's no shame in it. Okay, in the same manner that you would go to a doctor if you notice that your tummy is painful and the pain has been persistent. So same goes when you feel like you'd like to visit a mental health professional, then do so. Okay, there are a lot of mental health professionals who will be willing to help you out, overcome whatever it is that you are undergoing right now. So that's it.
It seems that you had fun knowing and exploring new concepts and ideas about transcendence. Am I right? Remember, it is always important to know ourselves more in order for us to transcend our limits and open our lives to experience greater possibilities. Nevertheless, knowing ourselves requires a lot of time. As the saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child, just like knowing yourself. And aside from the tips we gathered, let us continue unleashing our best in this quest for truth and knowledge. Shall we challenge ourselves by doing a simple activity? Meditate on your desires. Are they really impossible? Is it due to your weaknesses? Now, I want you to consider your own strengths and remember the concept of transcendence. So now, do you see that what seemed totally impossible earlier seems more possible now? That is what transcendence can do for us. Which leads to focal point number 3. Focal point number 3. You can use your strengths to transform your weaknesses and achieve your desires. In this quest, we were able to discover that we, as human beings, have the unique power to change ourselves and the things around us for the better. We have learned in this journey that transcendence is a state of existence or experience above and beyond the normal or physical level within ourselves. Also, transcendence opens up our mind and allows us to use our creativity in imagining the possibilities that go beyond the physical and material limitations of our existence. And lastly, transcendence makes us realize that we can use our strengths to transform our weaknesses and achieve our desires. Oh, another case to investigate. Thank you. But before we solve yet another case, join me as we select our junior detectives for this upcoming episode. Remember what I told you last week? To post a selfie on your Facebook account while watching our phenomenal episode. Don't you worry, if you haven't posted yet, you still have the chance to do it now. So what are you waiting for? Hurry up and let's go! All you have to do is take a selfie with me. Are you ready? 1, 2, and 3. That's it! Post it on your Facebook account with the hashtag DepEd Phenomenal Junior Detective and get a chance to be featured as one of our junior detectives. I hope you had fun in solving our case. I'm looking forward to seeing you again in our next adventure. I'm Teacher Jossa, your Detective Maestra. Stay tuned as we find ourselves in yet another phenomenal quest for fundamental truth.